What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Anna Mondays. You're probably sick of seeing my face. I know I am. Today we're going to do Season 1 of Regular Show, which is honestly one of my favorite shows, favorite cartoons of all time. I don't know about you, but I grew up on Cartoon Network, and a little Nickelodeon, but mostly Cartoon Network. When I was a kid, we had Ed, Edd and Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken. We had all this huge block. Got canceled, didn't get picked up for a new season, this or that. And eventually we were stuck with a Cartoon Network that didn't play cartoons anymore. And that was a really sad day, especially for naming conventions. 2009 hit, and Regular Show, Adventure Time, they came along and they basically gave us a nice break from, well, a break in good cartoons. This fits along with our old childhood cartoons. It probably fits along with 80s kids' childhood cartoons, because at its core, this show is an 80s show. The first episode is called The Power, and it starts with a Wrestling Buddies reference, which, I don't know about you, but I also grew up on wrestling. Oh, there's a line that I saw in mine, and I apparently read that it's cut out of most other versions, so I guess I have the old version. How the H are we gonna fix this S? I love how their idea of trying to fix the hole in this first episode that they cause. They basically puncture a giant hole in the wall wrestling with this wrestling buddy. Sorry, I didn't get to that point yet. The way they decide to fix that hole is they work to get a raise, then use the raise to pay someone else to fix their mistake. Rigby pulls out a keyboard later in the episode, which you can just basically, yes, I just said a keyboard, that should tell you this is an 80s series in and of itself. And then whatever they say lyrically, it happens in real life. The way he gets it is by stealing a wizard's magic key. It's a wizard's keyboard. He steals it from him. One of the best quotes in the first episode is, "I've always wanted to date a girl named The Power." What the fuck? This must be the 80s, because you're on cocaine. That's weirder than the show being about a blue jay and a raccoon and a gumball machine and a giant friggin' ape monster who's immortal. Pops, who's a giant, tumor-headed, pink guy that just pays for things with lollipops instead of money. Yeah, this is, in case you couldn't tell from what I just said, this is very much an absurdist humor kind of show. I like that they use the keyboard to do whatever they want in the first episode, breaking all laws, laws from societal standpoints, laws from gravity, laws from physics, laws. Soda machine that doesn't work, send it to the moon. Speaking of sending things to the moon, they send Skips to the moon accidentally, and then they go after him, which I thought was fucking amazing. My one gripe with this first episode, and I only have one single thing I had to question it. How does sending the wrestling buddy to the moon, how does that correlate it turning into a monster? Earlier on in the episode, Rigby just started this whole thing with ham boning. Ham boning will save your life one day. Ham boning! It comes back full circle when they're on the moon, that giant wrestling buddy turns into a monster, like I've just previously said. And Rigby just runs up as Mordecai's about to die and just starts ham-boning the giant's ankle. And then Mordecai's response to that is genius. Just, I can't believe you just did that. When they finally get back, you see them warping back, the cart's destroyed, it's just them in the warp. They come back, hit their room, every piece of their wall, minus the hole, falls. It's just a tiny piece of plaster, in the shape of a hole that's left in their room. And then at the end, the best punchline for this, they just cover it with a poster. Episode 2, you got Just Shut Up the Chair, not time. Just set up the chairs. This episode introduced 2 new characters. We got High Five Ghost and Muscle Man. And I do know this show, as I said, it's one of my favorites, so I'm gonna do something I don't normally try to do here, and I'm gonna speak knowing the future, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna know what I know instead of trying to review it blank like I normally do. HFG and Muscle Man. It's weird because Muscle Man sounds okay, but HFG has High Five Ghost has a completely different voice. I think his name was Jeff Bennett. It's weird. It's weird. you're so used to the adorable little, like, JG Quintel version that it's just, when you hear Jeff Bennett, it's just, ew. Oh yeah, we got a really adult, okay, we had in the last episode, we had, how the H are we gonna fix this S? In this episode, we have, Benson's gonna drop his balls when he sees how good we set these chairs up. It'll be all like, oh no, my gumballs. What's that? Okay, I'm calling it out now. Cartoon Network, you don't have censors. Please don't take the show off the air. I love this show. I love it, Adventure Time. I love that you're letting these risque, that's not a word. I love that you're letting these risque shows go. They're more for, I guess, teenagers, since there's the whole love story with him and Margaret. And it's just really well done, and it makes it so that adults, if you want to count me as an adult, I don't either. Adults really like this show, and it's interesting. It has a very, very rabid fan base, and I see why by jokes like this. This show does a really, when they're setting up the chairs, and it's just literally, alright, set up the chairs. 1! Oh god, this is horrible. Like, this is literally how I feel like when I used to work at jobs like that. Like, when it's just a painful job, and it feels like it takes forever, and it's just, no matter what you do, there's like a minute on the clock that's gone by. That kind of job, this does it really well. They throw one chair and they're instantly, you can see how defeated they are. It also shows Benson doing chores where it's like, they basically have a quick cut to Benson where it's like, I bet he's not even doing anything. And it's like Benson, who's driving this bus full of pissy kids. Happy birthday, Jimmy, to drive the bus! It shows that the boss, and it's not in all cases, I've worked in places where the boss just shows up, goes, you working? Alright, good, and just goes home. But a lot of the times, you don't give your boss credit. Muscle Man and I'd High Five Ghost picking up the special entertainment is amazing. That is one of the more adult jokes in this, because they knock on the door, and okay, a horse answers. 1 second. Friggin' goes back in, a clown comes out, clearly hammered. Clearly drunk. Yeah, what do you want? We're gonna pick up the special entertainment. And it's like this weird little dialogue that just ends with the clown who's drunk off his mind, and I borrow $5. I like finding the secret arcade and testing Mordecai's will to not have to do shitty jobs. At first you think it's like, oh no, he just genuinely cares about not being a slacker. Oh no. No. The other episodes will tell you that. No. He just doesn't want to set up the fucking chairs next time. Oh yeah, I wrote it right here. Pop's returning after releasing the Destroyer of Worlds was genius. Who released the Destroyer of Worlds? Good show! And then the clown and the horse just die. The special entertainment gets vaporized. In a kid's show, people get vaporized. Wait till we get to Fuzzy Dice. The giant game character battle where it's like Mr. Lemon Burger Body versus friggin' the Destroyer of Worlds, El Diablo. It's like they're fighting. This is so cool. This is so cool. There's little moments in the show that, it is a comedy show primarily, and then I think the backdrop is drama, since the whole Mordecai-Margaret relationship is a major point later. That being said, in this season, it's pretty much a comedy, slacker comedy, and then at the bottom you have sort of like this really awesome, like, concept show, where it's just like, hey, what are we doing this time? Giant video game battle. Hey, what are we doing this time? Concept. And they're all fucking flawlessly weaved into the comedic episodes. So obviously at the end of the episode, they don't have to set up the chairs next time. Oh, not setting up the chairs next time. Not setting up the chairs next time. Yeah, that's the last time I let you set up something important like the chairs. Then Benson tells him to clean up the entire park, which is destroyed, and once again, one of the best punchlines for any episode ever. We're gonna take a break first, right? Yeah. Like, this show is just so good at what it does. Then we go into Caffeinated Concert Tickets, episode 3, and it's, you get a fist pump commercial, which is apparently a band in this world, and there's a line in this. They just got out of jail and rehab, and now they're back to rock your 11 to 15-year-old pants off. That's our demographic, get over it. That was it! Okay, the other one you can kind of get away with, maybe kids can pick up cursing, it is kind of actually a kid thing to do. That being said, jail, rehab, rocking 11 to 15-year-old pants off, that's our demographic, get over it. That's for adults. That's the difference between cursing adult and, like, adult topics. Rigby liking fist pump and Mordecai is Mordecai Knott is a really good way to show two friends maturing at different paces. I think that's just an interesting thing to show. Oh, spinning off screen like idiots when they get their money. Great comedy. That's great comedy for kids. That's the stuff that kids, not for kids. Oh God, for kids, don't pick this up. Don't come back into production and start making regular show. I beg of you. Rigby, one day you'll understand the real reason people go to concerts. Okay. Mordecai's relationship, or lack thereof in this case, is way too adult for this kid's show. You have the band t-shirt where he sees her in the band t-shirt and it's like a revealing shot. Him drooling. They say lady pecs. The Japanese guy would be with a giant coffee bean that shoots coffee out of his nipples. Everybody's working for the weekend is in a work montage in this show. And then them falling once again asleep at the concert. Perfect little punchline at the end of this episode. And we move on to 4. Death Punchies. It looks just like the cover. Whoa! It looks nothing like the cover. We've all had that point in our life with video games, I feel like. Just, holy shit! Dude, Tomb Raider! What? Death Kwon Do, amazing. Basically just, like, this is the hat of death. This is the shirt of death. This is the beard of death. I actually have a mullet. That just means I need to get a pair of jean shorts. Oh, another 80s song. You're the best around. You're the best around. I'm not gonna pay for the song. I love how this whole battle between Mordecai and Rigby in this episode is all because Rigby wants to be player 1, and Mordecai's just too much of a selfish jack-off to let him do it. The person who usually sits to my left and me have had many arguments over stuff like that. I just think it's superbly ridiculous, the shit that they escalate in this series. Like, you're not number 1, you're not playing the number 1 character, you never win, so that's gonna equate in you punching a hole to the center of the earth where lava pours in and both of us might die. It's a great visual, too, them creating that hole. You see Rigby constantly doing the death punch, Mordecai constantly doing the death block, and you just see this flashing yellow light. And then the other characters, the 3, Muscle Man, I think Benson, and Skips are sitting on the roof, and it's just these yellow lights flashing, and their hair just in the wind. It's actually kind of epic for a kid's show. And then once again, punchline. This series and its punchlines are fucking phenomenal. Picks it up. Dies instantaneously, the first player. He lets Rigby play player 1. Rigby picks up the controller, starts playing, instantly dies. This sucks. I want to be player 2. Next we go on to my personal favorite of this entire season. Free cake! Free cake! They act like poor 23-year-olds really well when they pull that plate out of the chipped plate out of the garbage. Whoa, we got a plate now. Oh, nice. We should put some cake on it. When they're discussing how to get Skips into his party. It's easy. We get a van, and bam! We kidnap him. No, dude. That's kidnapping. Wait, I got it. What, vans? He's just so obsessed with kidnapping someone in a van. Isn't that right, Muscle Man? That's totally been here the entire time? That's right, JJ. You heard it. Skips fails to do his spirit dance, which is the reason why he never wanted a birthday party in the first place. David Bowie descends in a car from the heavens, grabs Skips, and chauffeurs him to 5 floating space babies that grant Skips immortality. I'm not talking about regular show, this was just about David Bowie's life. All kidding aside, causing him to shrivel to dust when not doing his dance for immortality is a very brutal visual for kids. It's a haunting image. I love that the idea of them giving Skips the ultimate gift is basically trading a chocolate cake away and then just giving him the plate. It's like the laziest fucks in the world. I don't know what's lazier, this or the fact that another birthday in a later season, they get him an IOU. They literally write down an IOU. The way they cross the plate out to just spell Skip's Godfather of Soul. It's honestly kind of a real touching moment, the way Skip's just, oh, no one's ever done that for me before, thanks. It's genuinely a real touching moment, and you don't get those often in kid shows. You have them in specific shows and specific episodes of them, but this show seems to contain a stagnant amount of heart, and I really, really like it. Adventure Time does a much more amount, and we'll get to that show eventually. The punchline in this one. Aw, vanilla! Rigby, we move on to the next episode, Meet Your Maker. So Meet Your Maker. Rigby destroys hot dogs he isn't supposed to grill. That's pretty much the episode. Pisses Mordecai off in the first 5 minutes more than he's ever done in the entire series. It's weird, because this episode is all about Rigby trying to fix his own mistake, but at the same time it's caused by Mordecai, because the amount Mordecai of stress that he puts on Rigby, it's kind of the cause of why Rigby's trying so hard and basically fucking everything up as much. A bunch of talking hot dogs save them, which, what the fuck? Can this get any weirder? Oh yeah, it does. They're voiced by Tim Curry. Oh yeah, I also love how Mordecai is, like, dying, and he's, like, in his dying world, he's off with fucking Margaret in a beach, and Rigby even ruins that. And then they make the deal about, like, yes, we just want to be eaten. And it's like, okay, you want to be eaten. That's really fucking weird. Then they go out and they're like, we're gonna eat you! That's a lot less weird than wanting to be eaten. But then we go right back to full-blown weird, because they start fucking self-cannibalizing. I love the concept of pinning it all on the boss, on Benson, and the moral is basically, if you trust fuck-ups long enough, they'll pull through. Seriously, that's not the moral. Next episode, Grilled Cheese Deluxe. The dialogue, and I realized it in this episode, the dialogue in the show is really unpolished, and I think it's in a good way. The perfect example is the misspelled my name wrong, and the ostrich thing with the balls again. It's like everything, the way they say it, the way it's written, it just feels more natural. It feels unpolished. It doesn't feel like somebody took a lot of time to write it, and I mean that in a good way. It's natural. It's fun. It actually adds to the comedy a lot. They're astronauts. They can cut in line. They fought for this country. God bless you, Neil Armstrong. The best line in this entire first season goes to Grilled Cheese Deluxe episode. I hope you're up to spending $2.5 million in taxpayers' dollars, because we're driving. And then they just, in the shuttle from Cheezers, race up, across a single road, land in front of the NASA. Lies, 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 yeah. By the Thompson Twins for a lying montage. We've gotten like 3 montages that I can specifically remember. 2 of them are like action montages. This one's just a montage of them lying to people. I've never seen that before. I love that. A full-on montage dedicated to being a piece of garbage. Which is a bet they have. Who could be a bigger piece of garbage, basically. I like that they push it to the point of unstabilizing antimatter inside the NASA, like, area. Only for Rigby to 2 minutes later just admit that, yeah, no, we lied. I like that they saved the day with Benson's grilled cheese, and then it's a nice touch to have them tell Benson the truth for once, and then Benson just doesn't fucking believe them. Unicorns Have Got to Go is the next episode. If there's a episode that has a scene in it that I quote the most, this is it. Because this first line, Rigby has like a really nice moment with Mordecai. He's literally, for the first time in his life, not being an asshole. Looks up at Mordecai. Nothing beats drinking Joe with my bro, right, Mordecai? And then Mordecai's response, greatest response in the world. Huh? Huh? What? Yeah. It's so condescending! Do Time for Men, great parody of Axe, Old Spice, that whole, nobody gets girls with that. I know one girl in my life that liked the smell of Axe. Yeah, one girl. That's depressing. How are you a company? Shows both sides really well of a friendship that's being hurt by a relationship. In this case, it's a non-existent relationship, one that he wants to be, and it's hurting him so much that it's affecting both of them. It's done really well. I just like it. I like the Clockwork Orange. There was a reference to a Clockwork Orange. There was one of the unicorns dressed in like the eye thing with the white shirt, and it was Alex. Also, I have to, I love the Bumma Spray. That's legitimately a saying. Growing up in a male locker room, I've heard that more times than I'd like to admit. So, what exactly is, and this is just a question I have, what exactly is unicorn schlemp? Because Mordecai just drank it, and if it's what I think it is, what the fuck, censors? I love to end the unicorns they drag. They have to challenge them to a drag race. Unicorns never say no to a drag race. And then, like, fucking really? And then instead of actually drag racing them, they trick them off of a ramp and then they just blow them up. Not only are the last lines in this show great, when a character or characters exit a scene, it's always funny. Almost always funny. Next episode is Prank Callers. When caught making prank calls, Benson just comes in and rips the phone out and just starts beating it to death. So they go to Pops. They get 80 cell phones from him. This show belongs in the 80s. They get 80 cell phones from him, and they make a brain tumor joke like I did at the beginning, and it zooms in and you see Pop's head just fucking doo-doon, doo-doon, doo-doon. So Pops might die, like, in season 10, for all we know. They get sucked back to the 80s by the master prank caller. They get summoned back to the 80s by the master prank caller, who's, again, I think partially voiced by Tim Curry. I think. I could be wrong, unless someone's just doing a very good Tim Curry impersonation there. They start running away from him, and they're running all over the past, and they run over past Pops, which is kind of amazing. So the show just basically said it. They're responsible for making Pops the way Pops is. And for lack of a better term, they caused Pops to have brain damage. Kids! When in the hallway of time on their way back to their regular time, I find it interesting they don't show what time their present is. It's just a door marked to the present. The one thing they do give you is you see a bunch of other doors like the 90s and stuff like that, and the last one you see that is the earliest point to what the present can be is 2004. So the most we know is this show takes place past 2004. This next episode is one of the weirdest, if not the fucking weirdest. Dawn. I think we got a call back to Pops thinking lollipops are money, which we can assume, and once again I know, is going to be an ongoing joke at this point. They're being audited due to Pops trying to pay for taxes in the park with lollipops. Rigby has a brother, and it's really weird. He has brother issues. Don's too perfect because everyone likes Don more than him. Don just consistently walks over to Rigby. Come on, give me some sugar. Sugar is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever heard. I think I heard that like 30 to 50 times in that episode. It's a good comedic choice in wording, because I laugh my ass off. It's just creepy. It's so weird. Just say, give me a hug, you fucking weird bastard. The speech that Mordecai gives to Rigby in this episode about trading in your brother for someone else is like how I want to trade you in for someone else, but because we're bros, we're best friends, you're practically my brother. I can't do that. That's just... We're together, bro. It's fucked up, but it's really touching. At the end of the episode, you see a literal picture of Don being like 15 foot tall and Rigby being like 2, and he's literally in Don's shadow. Nice touch. Moving on to the next episode, we got Rigby's body. They find out from Pops that snacks are free at the snack bar whenever he works there, so they assume, wrongly, I'm going to spoil that right now, that it's free for them too. The way Rigby's body turns on him is clever. His denial makes it really comedic. The fact that no matter what he does, his body is gone. His body left him. He's a pile of goo in a trash can, and he's still lying to himself. Nah, this is cool. I was always right. I don't want to be with the loser who thought he was wrong. It's a really interesting moralistic episode, and if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. I'll take that. But wasn't there a Mucha Lucha episode about this? About, like, turning into a ball? Oh my god, it was! It was Ricochet's finisher episode! Oh my gosh, shout out to J Beard's Theory. Thank you for reminding me of that. Muscle Man and High Five Ghost still don't sound normal. And in this case, Muscle Man sounded a little bit more normal in the first one. He sounded nothing like he did in this one. Oh boy, I'm getting out of here. You can hear the little bit in there, but it's just not Muscle Man, if you know what I mean. It's just not quite there. Although I'm probably not Muscle Man because I'm not Sam Marin. He plays like 8 characters. It's insane. Oh yeah, okay, so you have this one guy who takes over Rigby's body and is like this big weightlifter, and his body gave up on him the opposite way, which is another nice moral. Too much or too little, literally both sides, they're both wrong. You have to find a medium. Skips and Mordecai corner the weightlifter, and they basically, we've done it your way, and now we're gonna do it the Skip's way. Douche, douche. Oh, and as I've said from the beginning, they reveal that snacks weren't free, so haha, you got run over for nothing, and now you owe like $1 million. Life. The season finale is called Mordecai and the Rigbys, while drunk on soda, because that's a thing in this show. Soda's alcohol. Later on, you find out wings are drugs, so soda's alcohol. While drunk on soda, they order t-shirts for a fake band, which the greatest named fake band of all time. Mustache Cash Stash. They wind up not even getting those. They wind up getting shirts that say Mordecai and the Rigby's, because, you know, that's being drunk for you. Entirely sure how, but they wound up summoning their future selves from 10 years ago in the weirdest way ever. I'm not even going to explain it, just look at it yourself and try to put that one together. Unless the soda's magic. Wouldn't want to spoil the surprise if you and Margaret... I feel like that's a good way to have Mordecai ask his future self something, and just... He feels cheated like the audience does, too, so it works on multiple levels, but it also works on the fact that they can't spoil... It's a major thing for the series going on, so they can't spoil it, so it's a nice little way to be like, oh, it's a thing. Keep watching, you're going to enjoy it. These two slackers never picked up an instrument in their life, quote Benson. And quote me, you're fucking wrong. The power. This turns into like a lip-syncing moral, which is in a more broad way, it's basically saying don't take shortcuts. That being said, Rigby got what he always wanted, so I don't see why that's a thing. And the episode ends with Margaret leaving with another guy, and Rigby even saying, you probably should have stuck to lip-syncing. The last thing I have to say is we kind of go out in a whimper. It sets you up for the whole like dump finale fiasco, which happens multiple times, which is kind of a tradition for this series. That being said, I feel like we could have gone out in more of a bang. It didn't feel like an actual finale like some of the finales do in the series, although, once again, maybe that's due to the fact that they didn't think they were getting picked up again. Maybe this was just a short order series that wound up being a major hit and getting Emmys for them, so cha-ching! The show, just for some fun facts here, the show was originally going to be called Normal Show. This and Adventure Time were actually the first Cartoon Network series to ever be renewed for past 6 seasons. And Eddie probably would have pushed that if it weren't for Danny Antonucci. Well, let's not Google Danny Antonucci if you want to know that one. Sam Marin plays Benson, Muscleman and Pops. He auditioned for the role of Skips. Mark Hamill, Luke fucking Skywalker, and the Joker auditioned for the role of Pops. Imagine the Joker voice with Pops. Lollipops. What the fuck? Episodes for the show are produced using hand-drawn animation and storyboarding, which is pretty much a dead art. The show is inspired by Beavis and Butthead, which you can tell by the douchebag friend dynamic, and then The Simpsons, which you can tell by it's not a kid's show. Camp Lazlo and Rocko's Modern Life were the two stylistic inspirations for this show. The show combined 2 shorts, both made by Quintel in college. The first one is of Pops, called A Naive Man from Lollipop Land, I believe. It's about Pops pretty much just being Pops and flying away, and Henrietta, I believe his name, Carmencita? What was it? What was the car's name? The other is of 2 guys talking at their job, taking candy, which has drugs in it, and them turning into a gumball machine and a blue jay. And wait a minute. So they were humans, they took acid, and then they turned into a blue jay and a bubblegum machine. They turned in... So are you telling me that all of these things... You're telling me that this show is about 2 23-year-old losers who fuck everything up, can't seem to hold their job right. Oh my god, this is a drug friend show. Really fun, at times heartwarming show that just manages to speak to all lovable losers of all kinds. If you like video games, that's a very big plus for you. And, oh, yeah, shout out to the which I don't think I actually got in the first season. So, Muscle Man that I totally didn't just put up halfway through the video. What video are we doing next? I think it's going to be One Punch Man. It's going to be One Punch Man. So, stay tuned for One Punch Man, and I'm never going to do that kind of outro again.